Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Some updates on Bitcoin today. We've not covered it for a few weeks now, so we're going to take a look into mainly price analysis. I know it has felt like stagnation for the last month or two. We've had a decent rise up towards that 32k barrier and we've rejected, and although the price is starting to grind down slowly, it's almost felt like it's just flatlining, going sideways, and there's not much going on in terms of price action. It's all lower time frame stuff. It's pumps, dumps within that 15 minute to 1 hour time frame. And yeah, it's slightly boring. As you can see, we'll take a look at the charts here. We're up towards this area, this level of resistance, which it's been key. I mean, back in June of last year, we hit that resistance and then we dumped, and now we're back up to that level. We've pretty much hit the tops of that range. We've had no closures above that range there, 31,800, and we've pulled back. Just going back in time a little bit, as you can see here, when we had that rise up to that same level of resistance again back in April, we had that pretty much that falling wedge breakout. We had a falling wedge here, and then we did break to the upside. Who knows? I mean, is that going to happen again? Are we now forming a falling wedge, and is a price going to react up there again? As you can see, we've had multiple taps, well, 3 taps on that lower trend line there, and we've had 2 rejections at the top. There's a good reason to say it could break up above it again, but still many people are still looking for downward pressure. And if we zoom out onto the weekly time frame and have a look here, I mean, there's nothing to say that we can't drop further down. We've got loads of levels of of support down here. And in fact, I'm just going to flip charts and go to the big chart here. This is, let's just get rid of that. This is a BTC USD on Bitstamp chart. This has got all the data in the past, and as you can see, let's have a look like back here when we had that 2017 bull run. We jumped down here, and after we dumped down right to the lowest level, which was, let's just have a look at that in terms of a drop. If I can find there is, move around a little bit then. So once we had that drop down here, which was from the top to the bottom, an 83% rally, we did push up, and we did, before we jumped up here, if you look at this region, so from lows there to highs, we jumped up 364%, which was a decent rise, and then we dumped back down another substantial amount. But as you can see, we did not retest those lows. That is always a possibility for us to happen again. I mean, if you look at this rise here from the lows, it's around a 104% move. There's nothing to say that we can't come back down and retest this level of support down here around 19k. I think that would be quite confident. As you can see, dump, pump up, and then a dump down. Let's have a look at the highs there. That was in July to the lows there was in March. So you're talking quite a decent period, talking around, what's that, about 9 months from them highs to the lows, and there's nothing to say that can't happen again. If we're looking at the highs there, also in July, if we look at March around here, this is what, same like that COVID dump, wasn't it? I mean, there's nothing to say we can't drop down another decent chunk there, around 40%, and bring a price down here, wait for that next major bull cycle. As you look here, after that COVID dump there, we went on to create new all-time. So that could be something that could happen here. Over this next, I don't know, this next period from July all the way through to March next year, if similar scenario happens, we could dump back down here, a 40% dump to 18 to 19k, and then push up and then start that next 2024 bull cycle where, as you know, when we dumped down there from the March 2020 there, we dumped and then all the way up to the all-time highs the year after. So that is something that could happen. I think there's a good chance that happens. I mean, historically, Bitcoin does seem to follow what's gone in the past, and so far we are working in those 3 to 4 year cycles, and that could be something that could really happen. That's a little bit of a bearish case scenario with a long-termish bullish scenario. But if we're looking at previous history, and that did a 364% rise, what if Bitcoin did the similar scenario? Probably won't happen, because you can see where that's going to go. That and then go up to new all-time highs. There's a good chance that we still push higher. I've always mentioned up at 32 to 34k is a decent area, and if you look at that, we've got a nice level of resistance, which could be a potential setup. On the daily time frame here, if we zoom out, you can see all those areas around here, those which could be somewhere we could target, and also up to this 39. I've seen a few accounts mentioning 45k, and that would be that reason to go up to this massive level here. I don't think that'll happen personally unless something crazy happens, like a Bitcoin ETF approval with BlackRock or Fidelity or somebody like that. That could be something that could ignite major FOMO. What is keeping us up though? What is keeping the price up to these levels? Could it be the fact that MicroStrategy keep buying the dumps? That could be a potential scenario. Or could it be that we've just found a bottom and people are happy to buy at this area? It is an accumulation point, and every time we grind down, we are pushing back up. As you can see on these drops here, we grind back up. Is it going to happen again? Are we going to drive back up, or we're going to come back down? For me personally, I think I'm more in favour of a pull down. It might not bring that level down to 20k. It's not a major dump if you consider the overall perspective. Long term, we are going up. So just get that in your mind. Long term, we're going up. So for me, if you're wanting to buy Bitcoin or wanting to buy any crypto assets, I would start buying now, with the fact that I do know the price can come lower. That's why I've started to buy Chainlink. I've started to buy Caps, which is one of my favourite. Started to buy Metis. I think some of these assets are really solid levels now. VeChain is a decent level too. And you need to remember that you are never ever going to catch a bottom. You're never going to catch a bottom. Given, yes, the price could come lower and altcoins could drop another 50%, but also it could not happen as well. That's why I'm starting to buy. I've been starting to buy altcoins for the last 6 months. Some of them underwater. I managed to buy some down here in terms of Metis. Let's have a look at that. I'm underwater on some of them buys. I remember buying at $14 and rode it all up here. Took some profit down here and I took some profit down here. I'm starting to buy back into Metis now and average down on those previous orders. So you never, like I say, you're never going to find the bottom. But remember, you've got to start buying at some point. But back to Bitcoin. There are two scenarios that I think could be in play. Let's see. Are we going to drop down to 19k? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Will we drop down to 19k? Or will we continue to push up and push up to around 33 to 35 to 34? It's a guessing man's game. But MicroStrategy so far are buying, whether there's a dump or a pump. They are keeping their Bitcoin holdings fresh. They keep topping up. I think we've got something like 154,000 Bitcoin holding now, which is absolutely insane. So that's my thoughts on Bitcoin. I'm accumulating assets. I'm accumulating small amounts of Bitcoin. Whether it goes up short term or long term on altcoins or short term, I think it doesn't matter. Long term is where the real money's at, and that's what I'm doing now. Accumulating for the long term. Whether a bull cycle begins next year or the year after is still a bit of an unknown, but yeah, you got to start buying at some point. We are forming a falling wedge here, so let's see if the price can react and we start getting push up and retest that level of resistance. I think if we retest this again and penetrate through, then we are going to push up to these levels, but let's just wait and see. But that's it today. Just some quick thoughts on Bitcoin. Might not be entirely right, might not be entirely wrong, but let's wait and see. That's it for today. If you're new to this channel, please make sure that you are subscribed, hit that like button, and I'll catch you next time.